Welcome to New Thought Deep Dive. Each week, we dive into a refresher on New Thought spiritual ideas that leave you thinking. Everything about this podcast, from the intro to the script and the presenters, is generated by AI. For more information, please visit newthoughtnexus.net.
So what if the real reason you didn't, land that major contract, or maybe why your business revenue has been stuck at the exact same number for years, isn't because of your skills?
Right.
Like, what if your subconscious mind literally wouldn't let you earn a single dollar more than your current baseline?
Which is a terrifying thought, honestly.
It really is. Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. I am so excited you're here with us because today we are unpacking something truly fascinating. We're looking at a specific collection of documents, and we're really zoning in on week 2, which is titled Freeing Your Creative Power.
Yeah, and just to give some context, this is all part of a larger 4-week class called Abundance, the spiritual path to true freedom. And for those of you who are maybe new students to this material, week 1 was all about the inner theory.
Laying the groundwork.
Exactly, figuring out that abundance is an inside job. But today, with week 2, we are shifting entirely into action.
Yes, the action phase. How do we move from just hoping for a better life to actually mathematically demonstrating it?
And that's the threshold, right? Moving from theory to practice is usually where people get stuck. We are trying to transition from seeing ourselves as these fragile victims of, the economy or bad luck.
Or your boss's mood.
Yeah, exactly. Moving from that to becoming the conscious architects of our own destiny.
Which sounds amazing, but how do we actually do that?
Yeah.
The texts introduce this core concept called the law of mind action.
Right.
And it basically argues that everything in our visible world, from our bank accounts to our relationships, starts as a mental movement. Thought is the builder.
It is. And I know phrases like thoughts become things get thrown around a lot in self-help circles.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like a bumper sticker.
Completely. But the material actually breaks down the mechanics of it using a really great analogy to distinguish between the instrument and the actor.
The grand piano analogy. I love this one.
Yeah, so picture a magnificent grand piano. It's got the keys, the strings, the perfect acoustic design.
But it just sits there.
Exactly. The piano has no volition. It can't just suddenly decide to play a Beethoven sonata on its own. It's just the instrument.
Right.
In this framework, your brain and your body are the piano.
Wow. Okay, so the brain doesn't generate its own independent conscious intention out of nowhere.
No, it's the physical organ used for thinking. You are the musician.
I'm the thinker sitting on the bench.
You're sitting softly behind the keys, deciding which notes to play.
But okay, let's be real for a second. Most days, it feels like the complete opposite. It feels like the piano is playing me.
Oh, 100%.
Like my anxiety, my stress about a deadline, the intrusive thoughts, they just run the show without my permission.
Well, yeah, because your brain is evolutionarily designed to scan for threats, right? It wants to mash those loud, jarring, anxious keys because that keeps you hypervigilant. It keeps you alive.
Right, survival mode.
But when you fuse your identity with those automatic alarms, you lose all your creative power. The text says true abundance starts the moment you step back, realize you are the thinker, and actively choose to strike a different sequence of keys.
You stop reacting to the daily news cycle or whatever physical world stuff is happening, and you realize your supply originates in your mind.
Exactly. You stop being a reactor.
Okay, so if my thoughts are the builders of my reality, I can't just let my mind run wild, right? A builder needs a plan. You wouldn't hand a carpenter a pile of wood and be like, just build whatever, man.
No, you'd end up with a shack. Or worse, you need a definite architectural plan.
So how do we design that plan?
The texts talk about this formless, intelligent substance in the universe. It's always ready to flow and create, but it needs a mold, a mental pattern to fill.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
Formless, intelligent substance sounds a little woo-woo.
Yeah.
Are you saying if I just sit on my couch and build a mental mold of $1 million, it just magically appears? Because that sounds way too easy.
Yeah, no, it's not just about wishing for things. It's about building a mental equivalent.
A mental equivalent.
Right. It's neuropsychological as much as it is spiritual. You have to fully accept on the inside that the good is already yours. If your internal mold is shaped by a poverty consciousness, like a deep belief that money is scarce, The environment simply cannot deliver success to you.
Because you don't have the internal capacity to hold it.
Exactly. There's nowhere for that abundance to go.
Oh, this reminds me of that story from the text, the $25,000 salesman.
Yes, that is the perfect example.
Let me break this down for you, listen, because this blew my mind. So there's this salesman, and he makes $25,000 a year in a really poor, struggling territory. He hustles constantly just to hit that number.
Just grinding away.
Yeah. And management notices his hard work, so they promote him. They move him to a highly lucrative, wealthy territory where everyone else is easily making 3 times that amount.
It's a gold mine.
Exactly. So a year goes by in this new, abundant territory. And what are his final earnings?
Drum roll, please.
Exactly $25,000.
It's wild.
How does that even happen? Does he just stop working at noon every day once he hits a certain quota?
It's way more insidious than that, actually. It's subconscious. His self-image acted as an internal governor, like a speed regulator on an engine.
So his internal blueprint was literally set at $25,000.
Right. Deep down, his mental equivalent was, I am a guy who struggles to make $25,000. So when he got put in an environment that threatened to exceed that blueprint, his subconscious intervened to protect his identity.
Oh, wow. So he sabotaged himself.
Without even knowing it. He probably forgot to follow up on warm leads, or he got suddenly exhausted before big pitches, or he just subtly rubbed high-paying clients the wrong way.
It's like a thermostat.
Yes, exactly.
If you set your house thermostat to 65 degrees, it doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees outside and you open all the windows. The moment the living room hits 66, the AC kicks in and pumps freezing air until you're back down to 65.
The subconscious is the AC unit. It views unfamiliar territory, even positive, wealthy territory, as a threat.
It prefers the safety of the known struggle.
Yes. So you can't just change your external territory. You have to reprogram the thermostat.
Right, you have to habituate your nervous system to feel safe with success.
Exactly. But here's the dangerous question.
Oh.
Once you fix your internal blueprint and start seeking growth, what happens when your blueprint clashes with someone else's?
Right, what if we're both aiming for the same promotion?
Exactly. What if you both want the same plum?
Well, this brings us to what the text calls the competitive trap, which is honestly the biggest obstacle to abundance.
It really is.
Because the world teaches us that there's a finite pie. Only so many good jobs, only so much money. If someone else gets a big slice, there's mathematically less pie for you.
But from a spiritual perspective, that competitive mindset is a critical operational error.
An error. Why?
Because when you compete, you are vibrating at the frequency of fear and loss.
Wow.
You're constantly worried someone is going to take what's yours. And the text argues that this literally clogs your spiritual channel.
It narrows your focus so much that you go blind to other avenues.
Exactly. The text uses this great analogy about air. Abundance is like the oxygen we breathe. If someone next to you takes a huge, deep breath, you don't panic and think, oh no, there's less oxygen for me now.
Right, because the atmosphere is vast. But, okay, let's translate that. In a cutthroat corporate job, it really does feel like a finite pie. So how do we practically live in what the text calls a creative mind instead of a competitive mind?
It comes down to a rule. Use value versus cash value.
Okay, unpack that for us.
The idea is that in every interaction, you must leave an impression of increase. You focus on giving the other person more in use value than you are taking from them in cash value.
Oh, so like if I sell a class for $20, the knowledge the student gets should improve their life way beyond that $20 cost.
Exactly. You are adding to the total volume of life. You aren't just extracting.
But wait, if I'm constantly over-delivering on use value and leaving an impression of increase, aren't I just doing free labor? Like management is just going to exploit me.
Well, there's a difference between lacking boundaries and having high energetic output. Leaving an impression of increase doesn't mean working 80 hours a week for free.
Right.
It's about your presence. Think about a meeting. A competitive person walks in trying to dominate, hoarding information, wanting to look like the smartest person in the room so they can get the VP job.
They just drain the room's energy.
But a creative person walks in trying to elevate the ideas, connect resources, solve the problem. They expand the room. They become magnetic.
So you aren't fighting over the existing pie. You're building a new bakery.
Exactly. You force the company to create a new role just for you because your capacity is so valuable.
Okay, so we've got the blueprint and we've got this collaborative, creative mindset. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
What if you do all of this and your personal supply still feels cut off? Like you hit a dry spell. If the universe is infinite like air, Why does my supply dry up?
That brings us to the law of receptivity. The divine can only do for us what it can do through us.
We are the bottleneck.
We are absolutely the bottleneck. The text uses an analogy of the ocean. The ocean is infinitely full. But if you walk up to it with a tiny thimble, you only walk away with a thimble full of water.
It's not the ocean withholding the water.
Nope. It's the size of your container. You have to expand your mental acceptance.
See, this is where modern hustle culture comes in. Usually we're told that to get a bigger container, we have to grind, hustle, and force things to happen using sheer willpower. Is that what we're supposed to do here?
No, it explicitly warns against that.
Really?
Using willpower to force the external world or trying to manipulate people to give you what you want is an exhausting misuse of energy. The text actually calls it arrogance.
Arrogance, wow. So outward force is bad. But we still have willpower, so how do we use it?
Willpower must be directed inwardly.
Inwardly?
Okay, you use it to govern your own mind, to keep your thoughts focused on your divine pattern of abundance, even when the outside world looks terrible.
So outward force is like sending 50 desperate emails trying to close a client because you're panicking.
Right. And inward will is sending one amazing proposal and using your mental energy to stay calm, knowing that if they pass, your supply is still infinite.
But we still have to take action, right? We can't just meditate on the couch.
Oh, absolutely. Action is the bridge, but it's what the text calls joyful action.
Oh, joyful action.
Going back to the piano analogy, think of a child learning to play.
Okay.
The thought of the music is first given to the fingers, but it's the physical action of striking the keys that permanently fixes that thought into the subconscious.
So the action anchors the thought.
Exactly. It creates muscle memory. You can't integrate a new mental equivalent without moving your body in alignment with it.
So action isn't about stressful striving. It's doing everyday tasks like auditing a spreadsheet or taking a call with excellence and a happy heart in the present moment.
You're physically anchoring your abundant mindset into reality.
That is so powerful. Let's summarize this journey for you listening, because week 2 really does flip the script.
It's a complete recalibration.
You are not a victim of the economy. You are the thinker playing the piano. By holding a clear blueprint, escaping the competitive trap, expanding your thimble into a huge container, and pairing inward willpower with joyful action, you actually become the conscious architect of your life.
And looking at the deeper implications of this text, it leaves us with something really profound to mull over.
Let's hear it.
We often feel guilty for wanting more out of life, right? We think our desire for wealth or success is just our own self-will whim.
Oh, constantly.
But what if your deep desire for abundance isn't actually yours at all?
Wait, what do you mean?
What if that urge to build, to create, and to experience wealth is actually the universe itself, prompting you to expand because it wants to express more life through you?
Oh, wow.
It changes everything about how you view ambition.
It really does. If it's the universe wanting to express itself, then holding yourself back is the real disservice. What an amazing thought to end on. Thank you all so much for joining us on this deep dive into freeing your creative power. Take some time to look at where your internal thermostat is set today, and we'll see you next time.